It's February 15th, 2019.
This is Nerd Bourbon, episode 89. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I am Todd Sturgill.
And let's get right into it. I feel like I have to say that every week now.
Oh, Lord. I feel like somebody says that, though.
It's probably, you probably hear it on the news, like the actual news.
Somebody fucking says it, and it's like, it's why it was like in my head. And I don't know, like, it's whatever.
And let's get right into the news. No, let's, I wanted to, before we get into it, because we do actually have a lot of news to cover this week.
Yeah.
We just moments ago got finished watching the new Nintendo Direct, and we're kind of doing like a shotgun wedding with this week's episode because of it. Because the Nintendo Direct happened like late, and it was kind of like inconvenient with our schedule.
Oh, definitely is, but it's whatever.
So we're kind of like making it work, and so we have plenty of news to cover. I did want to give a quick disclaimer before we get into everything else. So Far Cry New Dawn comes out today, and obviously we have not played it yet because we record this podcast earlier than you hear it. Spoiler alert.
I will say this. Hopefully the day after this comes out, there will be an episode on YouTube.
Yeah, so you can expect us, you'll definitely hear us talk about it next week, and you can expect to be seeing our gameplay start to pop up on the YouTube channel, for sure.
I don't know if I'm going to do like anything scheduled with that. I think it's like as we record it, I'm probably going to just upload it.
Right.
Just to like, I don't know. I could just do the same thing that we did with Stardew for a while, is like have it like scheduled. That we did like the scheduled shit for like every Saturday.
Maybe.
But a part of me is just kind of like get it out while it's relevant.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what's going on.
There's also probably next week you can probably expect some Anthem talk from Todd.
Yes.
Because Todd will be playing Anthem because I think you're like an Origin Premier member.
So yeah. The whole thing is like why I'm even gonna play this game right now. I'm gonna end up playing it on PC, and our friend Tyler actually got hacked. I don't know if you knew about this.
I did not know about this.
He actually got his Origin account got hacked, and that dude bought like a year of Premiere.
Oh wow!
So Tyler's basically getting that shit for free. So
elite hack source.
Yeah, right. So it's like I was looking at it. I'm like, shit. Premiere is like what, like $15 a month? I'm like, that's whatever.
So are you basically just spending the $15 for 1 month, or?
Maybe. I'm probably going to cancel it once I like kind of like don't give a shit about Anthem.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, and I'll get my like fucking like fill out of it, because it's like I basically get like the best version of like Anthem. I get like all the DLCs and shit. It's like, okay.
Yeah. That's,
why not?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. They don't lock you into like a 3-month plan or anything like that.
No, I can just straight cancel that shit whenever I want.
Well, that's good. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So you'll probably be talking about that a little bit next week. Some hot Anthem impressions.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm gonna, if I love it or hate it, or it's an aggressively okay game.
I definitely I want to know if this is gonna be BioWare's death knell. For sure.
Again, I've been saying it since we've like found out about Anthem. I'm like, this is either the make it or break it for BioWare at this point.
So what I'm curious about, Todd, that's all happening next week. What have you been playing this week?
You already know one of them. As always, I've been playing Monster Hunter, and actually, so I think this came the Witcher crossover came out like a couple days after we recorded last week's episode.
Right.
So I guess I'll talk about that for a little bit. I'm gonna like kind of like do. It's really nothing crazy. I mean, they added like a new monster, which is like a monster from like with The Witcher.
Yeah, you were
like
saying like it's kind of like weird to be playing like fighting against a monster that stands on 2 legs.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was weird.
Like a bipedal monster.
Yeah, it bothered the shit out of me. But it was kind of cool though, because like you basically what they do is they make you basically go into this hunt as Geralt, like you're legitimately not playing your character almost.
Now, here's my question, because I haven't seen anything about this. Does it actually look like Geralt, or does it look like somebody tried to make Geralt a character creator?
No, it dead ass looks like him.
Okay.
Yeah, it dead ass looks like him. And like the whole thing is that they added like a whole new like weapon. They added like a sword and shield that is like based off his weapon, like the Witcher's like silver sword or whatever the fuck.
Right.
It's cool. It's got like, it's basically one of those, doesn't actually have a shield, so you're just like, the shield bash is just you beating the shit out of people with your fist, basically.
God bless.
That's one of the main reasons I like it.
God bless.
So I am probably gonna make that my sword and shield that I use, which I don't use it a lot, but it's whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a cool once and done sort of thing for me, because I don't like being forced to use like builds that aren't my own.
Right.
Because I'm a firm believer of I need stun resistance, because I hate getting stunned in that game by light taps on the ass. And like, it's like, oh, I'm stunned, you can't move, and then you fucking die to dumb shit. I hate it. I will not. I don't stand for it. And I will say that definitely happened during this quest. Is I got stunned. It pissed me off. I'm like, go fuck yourself. But there's actually like a lot of like hidden shit. There's like a side quest you can actually do during this whole like hunt. Basically, there's like a whole, like, if you do everything, you get like a secret ending, and you get like a free attack jewel.
A secret ending.
There's like different cutscenes basically.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. I attempted it once, because it's like you got to do this thing where you keep like a Puke alive, and I'm like, it's not that cool. I don't like, if I needed an attack gem, I would have actually said fuck it and like suffered through it, because keeping that Puke alive is like the most annoying thing of life, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't really need an attack gem. That's basically all I'm waiting for in Monster Hunter. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Lava Cunt came out.
Oh right.
Arch-tempered lava cunt. Here's the thing. They just need to say fuck him and bring back my Jaggy boy. My thick Jaggy
greatest,
boy.
Yeah, greatest Jagras.
Yes, because I don't want to fight lava cunt. It's not fun. It's terrible. I hated every second of it. I did it like 4 times because I always go for the layered armor. So I needed 4 tickets.
Right.
So I actually had to do it 4 times. The layered armor's not even good. I just like having layered armor. It's like the fucking Beetle set. It looks like ass, but it's whatever. Layered armor, I'm gonna go for it. So yeah, lava cunt's not even hard. It's just a very, very obnoxious fight that I've always hated. Other than that, I think the only thing I'm basically waiting on in Monster Hunter is the second part of the Witcher crossover, which I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know if they're gonna make you play as Geralt again, or you're actually going to be able to play as your actual character.
I guess we'll see. When is that coming out?
That comes out, I think, the day this is coming up, actually.
Okay, so that's probably another thing you'll talk about next week.
Yeah, I'll talk about that next week. So, and the other thing I've been playing, which is, I think you haven't put any more time into it
No,
at this point,
I haven't.
Is my favorite of the Battle Royales. The only one that I genuinely enjoy playing, Apex Legends.
Yeah, you've been playing the shit out of Apex.
Oh, you think I've been playing the shit out of it? Tyler's been playing more. Oh my god.
Yeah.
This, because he's the type of person that can like solo queue that shit. I don't solo queue that shit.
I would love to play more of that game. It's just no time, dude.
Yeah. If I am not playing with him, I'm not gonna play it. But but testament to how good this game is, I think about solo queuing it.
The fact that you're even considering it.
The fact that I'm considering solo queuing that game is a sign that it's really good.
I honestly feel like solo queuing that game wouldn't be that bad, just because the game has so many communication tools.
It works around, yeah, with the very rarely, the ping system is so robust, and actually, like, it's so well done. So well fucking done. Like, I'm sitting there playing with Tyler, and I still do the fucking ping system. I could sit there and tell him shit, but it's like, it's so easy. It's like, hey, let's check this place out. Boom, ping it. Hey, there's an enemy here. Double tap that shit. You know, it's like, it's good. It's really good shit. You know. Been playing a lot of that actually. It's funny is the moment I actually got Tyler into it, and he downloaded the game. Our first game together, we won. That was actually my first ever Battle Royale win ever, and it was fantastic. I honestly understand the why Battle Royales are so popular now because of that win.
Yeah, the high that you felt.
Because I swear to God, the adrenaline rush that I got, like, dude, it was like some old school shit, like when I was younger, like, and I was killing motherfuckers in like Call of Duty. Like, bro, like when I was the one that got the final kill, I was like, let's go! Yeah! Like,
The adrenaline rush was so great, in fact, that you sent me a Snapchat right after you won.
Oh yeah.
And you forgot that you were shirtless. So I see you just like you're Snapchatting me, and I just see you like shirtless in the reflection of your TV. just like lean back, like totally shirtless. I was like, oh, okay. Todd just doesn't give a fuck right now. No, just thinking, like, what if you were actually naked?
You would have saw some dick, my man. Like, you would have saw some straight dick and balls. That's all I'm gonna say. Because it's like, dude, I was like, dude, that shit got me so like high, basically, and I'm like, I did not give a shit. I didn't even realize I didn't realize my TV had a reflection at that point.
Oh, it always has a reflection.
That's the darkest part of my life is when the TV goes black.
It's a black mirror. That's where they get the title Black Mirror, the TV show.
Oh man. but yeah, I've been playing a lot of it, been like actually fucking around with by the time of this recording, I really have only really fucked with Gibraltar, which I find it funny that I found it funny, like, because, you know, they came out with the whole thing of, like, there's, like, a couple LGBTQ characters, Gibraltar being one of them.
Right.
I've jokingly been calling him. Like, I made a joke about it recently. It's like, I know there's some motherfucker that, like, was reading that shit, and he's like...
Yeah, how dare you?
Like not wanting to... He probably just, like, never gonna play Gibraltar again. And
I'm not
like,
gonna
shit.
Fucking play him. I'm not gonna fucking play a gay character.
I'm like, fucking good. It means I can play him. Fuck
right.
Because he's probably my favorite character because he's the character that, like, most... It's shit. That's the type of shit I play. Tanks, basically, with a shield. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
But I think probably next week I'll probably talk about another character that I'm interested in because I just recently got a legendary skin and I had to unlock this character at that point. Because
I want to play more, but there's just, God, there's so much other shit.
Yeah. I like it's funny. It's like Tyler is like every time we've played it, it's like what's Seth gonna be able to play? And I'm like,
never. I just my free time is so limited, and the little bit of free time that I have had has been all Kingdom Hearts.
Yes, all Kingdom Hearts. I told him like when he asked like the last time, I'm like, that's a good question. Fuck if I know.
That's the thing, dude. Like. And like you just have to have a certain level of understanding. I've waited for Kingdom Hearts for so long.
It's funny. I got into a discussion with Tyler. It's just like he was asking about that game, and I'm like, is he enjoying it? I'm like, do you not know my cousin? Do you not know that man has been waiting for this fucking game since that man's been playing Kingdom Hearts since the beginning.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, oh yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is like an extraordinarily important series to me. And it's not like, I fully admit that it's not like a great series.
But, you know.
But I love it.
It's funny, Tyler and we got into a discussion actually on this. It's like, with the way that the storyline is convoluted to like people that will, like, just on the outside looking in. He did a comparison that I kind of agree with, is people that have never played Dark Souls.
A little bit, yeah.
And that, I don't think as much as Kingdom Hearts, but like I think it was a decent comparison.
Probably in a different way, not necessarily the story. Sort of people, I think, would be in the same way that people would be intimidated to play Kingdom Hearts because they would be intimidated of the story. People, I think, are intimidated to play Dark Souls because of the gameplay and like the difficulty.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the best comparison to make there. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts has been basically all I've been playing. That's basically it. If I have free time to play video games, it's Kingdom Hearts.
And I've been looking forward to hearing what you have to say now because I think you've put a little more time into it and probably have a little more structured thoughts about it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't want to say too much more because I covered a lot of it last week, and I don't want to just ramble on about Kingdom Hearts because it's a game that I'm going to be talking about for a while because it's like I'm taking my time with it. I'm like over 30 hours in now. And I'm just kind of like it's a slow burn. I'm just enjoying it.
It's going to be a slow burn for like multiple reasons. Because like one, you're the 100%er kind of guy.
Yes.
And yeah, so that's always Like that's the main reason. I think you never. I don't think you. I still think you haven't beat Dishonored 2 because of that.
That's exactly why I didn't beat Dishonored 2, because like I played up to like the clockwork like tower or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I've done up to that point in Dishonored 2, and I have not set off a single alarm or been spotted whatsoever in that entire game. And something else came out that, and Dishonored 2 just kind of slipped through the cracks. But like I was,
and it's just kept on slipping through the cracks.
now it's point. Now it's like it's too late. If I were to try to go back, I wouldn't even remember how to be good at that game. but for Kingdom Hearts, like I did want to just talk about a couple of like thoughts that I've had now that I've spent a little more time with the game. And it's funny because now that I've spent more time with it, I'm kind of allowing myself to be a little more critical of the game.
Okay. So are you finding like problems you're having with it?
Well, yeah, just like I honestly, a big sticking point for me with this one is that I do think that ultimately the world list is pretty weak.
Yeah. You were actually telling me about that like off recording like a couple days ago, I think.
Don't get me wrong. Like the worlds in this game that are good are like some of the best of the series. Like I'm currently in the Pirates of the Caribbean world.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's not that many worlds. There's only like 7 worlds in the game, because I think after I do Pirates, I do San Francisco, and I think that's it. I think it's the last of the worlds.
I still hate that fucking name.
Yeah.
I hate that name.
Yeah. I do that, and then I do the Big Hero 6 world, essentially, and I think that's it. I think then it's just kind of getting to the end of the game. And so there's only like 7 of them or something like that, and like honestly, most of them are a little bit... I mean, it's hard to say that any of them are bad, but like I did the Frozen one, and it was just completely unremarkable. Like I was just bored.
It was basically just like the Frozen storyline, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's something that Kingdom Hearts does, is like a lot of times the worlds will follow the general plot of the movie. So like, but they're, a good example of them doing that is the Tangled world, which is one of my favorites in the game. The Tangled world is like excellent, and they follow the loose plot of the movie, but they don't go like ham on it. And they kind of give it its own spin, and like they kind of work Sora and company into it in a like meaningful way that makes sense.
Okay.
With Frozen, you're just kind of there, and like it just doesn't really make sense. Like
it's just like your character just seems like way out of place. Like,
yeah, like spoilers, minor spoilers, I guess, if you didn't know about this. They completely in its entirety do the Let It Go scene.
Oh, and are you just standing in the background?
And Sora and Donald and Goofy are just there watching it.
What the fuck?
It's just weird. It's just weird. And, like, it just doesn't make sense. And, like, there's no real reason for them to be there. It's just odd. And, like, visually, it's not very exciting because it's just all snow. And, it was just that world was kind of a bummer. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, I enjoyed Monstropolis. But same thing, like, Monstropolis was interesting because it actually takes place after Monsters, Inc.
Yeah,
but,
in a way, kind of a sequel kind of shit.
Yeah, but visually it wasn't that interesting. I was kind of like, I was thinking of the possibilities of we're going to go through different doors and go to, like, these different worlds and stuff like that.
Oh, that would have been cool.
They didn't do that, though. It's all just sort of, like, factory setting. And, like, that's that's fine. It is what it is. But, like, and then you got... On the other hand, though, like Toy Box, the Toy Story world is great. Corona is great. The Pirates of the Caribbean world that I'm on right now is fucking insane. Like, I can't believe what I'm playing right now. They basically have made like an entirely other game inside of this Pirates of the Caribbean world. It is Kingdom Hearts like imitation of like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, basically. Mm-hmm. And there's like a big open world like sea to explore with islands, and you have your own ship, and your ship can level up, and it's crazy. And there's like ship combat, and it's crazy.
I will never play that game because I'm like I'm a firm believer of not jumping into a fucking franchise at the end.
Right.
Witcher 3 will never play it. That game will never play it. But I think you will agree with this. But it's like I think they really missed out on not doing like a Zootopia world.
Well, yeah, I've said that. I can't believe they didn't do a Zootopia world, considering how big Zootopia is in Japan, and like how it's just ripe for the picking. Like, a Moana world would have made sense, and like ultimately, I understand their focus in this game was the sort of like 3D Disney animation. I get that.
Yeah.
And that's sort of so basically their take on it. There are 5 Disney 3D animation worlds. So there's one Disney 2D animation world, and there's one Disney live action world, right?
So Disney live action world.
Pirates.
Oh yeah. So, dumbass.
Yeah. So that's basically the way, but the main focus is on the 3D Disney animation and Pixar. But like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, why is Wreck-It Ralph relegated to a summon? Like, why didn't he get his own world? That's just, that's obvious. You know what I mean? Zootopia, Moana, like these movies, and there's other Pixar movies that would have been cool to explore too. I mean, WALL-E, would have been cool. I mean, there's a million other things that we could have done, a million other places we could have gone. And I don't know. I'm a little bit apprehensive that they kind of went the safe route. And they're like, oh, well, Frozen made a bunch of money, so let's just shit Sora and Donald and Goofy into the Frozen world and just make it work. And it's not terrible, but it just sort of falls flat a little bit for me in some of those respects. It feels like an executive decision, Mm-hmm. And I can't wait until the dust sort of settles on this game and there's like a nice like art book that's released so that, because I'm telling you, Zootopia had to at least have been in the discussion at one time.
Oh, it had to be.
So like I want to see like the Zootopia world art and the concepts and stuff like that, because that must have been in the discussion at one point in time. It had to be. But, overall, I mean, I'm having a fantastic time with the game. I'm loving it. Like I said, I'm like 30 plus hours in and not even close to being done yet. But I'm just taking my time, marinating on it. Whenever I have a free time, to play video games, that's the video game that I'm playing. And I'm just really, really, really loving it for the most part. But that is sort of a nitpick that I have where I'm just like, man, like, it's hard not to be a little bit bummed out by the worlds in this one. Like, everything else is so great, and the gameplay is great, and, the story is satisfying, but, man, the worlds are a little weak. In the grand scheme of it, I'm thinking when I actually sit and think about it, there's only 7 worlds, and I only really like half of them. Yeah, So, it is what it is. I mean, every Kingdom Hearts game has its worlds that are a little bit weak. But when this game, if you're only going to have a handful of worlds, I wish they were all just heavy hitters, And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're all big and like expansive and like there's plenty to see and do and explore in each one, and that's great. But like they're not all worlds that I want to spend a lot of time in. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm really enjoying the Pirates world that I'm in right now, and I hear that the Big Hero 6 world I hear is a highlight, so I'm looking forward to finishing the game.
Lord knows the movie ain't a highlight.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. I just I'm looking forward to finishing it out, and whenever that'll happen. But I'm still really enjoying the game. That's about all I've been playing though. So I think we should go ahead and crack open into this news here, because we have got a ton of news to cover this week. Like as I said, we had the Nintendo Direct. I've got a ton of notes from that. We're just going to kind of go point by point on that. But first, before we get into that, probably the biggest piece of news that has happened this week, and a few things have come out of this, is in spite of having a, quote, record-setting year in terms of revenue, publisher Activision Blizzard has decided to lay off nearly 800 of its employees.
It's fucking insane.
The publisher says that this is an effort to focus on their development, and they say that those affected by the layoffs were in, quote, non-development roles. How crazy is that? That's a lot of people without jobs, dude.
Yeah.
And
800 people.
Yeah.
Just
well, that's a rough estimate, and the reason we get that number is because this all happened in an earnings call this afternoon. The company said that it's eliminating about 8% of its staff, and in 2018, Activision Blizzard had roughly 9,600 employees. So 8% of that is a little under 800 people.
Yeah.
So yeah. And this
shit could be more.
And it's a mega publisher, so I mean this is across the various organizations, because remember last year Activision bought King as well, the Candy Crush developer.
Yeah.
So this is across all of them. And again, it's a little bit of a strange decision considering that they say that they had record-breaking results in 2018. It's a little bit strange. Like that's not the move of a record-breaking company to lay off their non-development personnel. Now, to be fair, they are promising a quote comprehensive severance package with the continued health benefits, career coaching, and job placement assistance, as well as profit-sharing bonuses for the previous year to those who are being laid off.
I mean, at least that's happening.
So it's not like the Telltale layoffs or the Telltale closure, right? Where nobody's getting severance pay or health care or anything like that.
They're just completely fucked.
They're going about it right. They're going about it the right way. But it definitely is kind of like it's kind of just one of those things where you look at it and you're just like, man, it's like a total sleazy corporate move. In a press release, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick, who by the way makes multi-million-dollar bonuses like every year based on Activision's earnings, quote, he says here, quote, "While our financial results for 2018 were the best in our history, we did not realize our full potential." So, essentially, it's like, hey, we did really well. Could have done better.
So, we're going to get rid of about 8% of you.
So let's fire like 800 people.
That's great.
So,
I love it.
Obviously, these people are devastated. I mean, Jason Schreier was reporting there were people in the parking lot of like Activision Blizzard hugging and crying. And, I mean, it was so sudden. I mean, these people didn't know yesterday that they weren't going to have a job today.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the craziest shit right there. It's just like, just not knowing.
Yeah. So this has kind of called together a new sort of, it's a topic that comes up whenever these like massive layoffs happen, is like, you know, game developers need to unionize, really.
Yeah.
And that's something that, you know, that's something that's kind of like been widespread throughout the industry. Is people are like, fuck, like game developers should be unionized, and this should be a union job. And essentially, when you work for a game developer, you're essentially a contractor at that point, you know. So, because it's so unstable. I mean, any day, because of things that are out of your control, things that you're not privy to, you could just not have a job, you know. So it's scary, man. I guess it comes with the territory, but you know, it's scary. We did have a few interesting things that came from these earnings calls, and I really just wanted to highlight on three things and kind of get our thoughts on it. The first thing that they said was something that I found interesting that kind of confirmed what I already knew. They said that parting ways with Bungie was, quote, mutual, and the split was because the game was not meeting financial expectations.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So we already, you know, more or less knew that was Activision's stance on it. But it's nice to have like the official confirmation from the horse's mouth that like, hey, like, yeah, the game wasn't making enough money for us to give a fuck. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is like everybody was all, you know, and we said this when it happened, everybody's all happy that Bungie broke free of Activision, and Bungie's all happy about it, but like, again, you know, nobody knows money like Activision, dude. So it's like, it makes you think that like, yeah, you've got the hardcore Destiny players, but how many of those players are actually out there?
Shit, Lord knows we ain't anymore.
It makes you think. Another interesting tidbit, Blizzard Entertainment has, quote, no frontline releases planned for 2019. No major releases coming from Blizzard this year.
Yeah, because it's the downfall, the death of Blizzard.
The reason that is an interesting quote is because Diablo Immortal is supposed to come out this year.
Oh, shit. That's right.
So either they just low-key delayed Diablo Immortal, or they're admitting that Diablo Immortal is not a frontline release.
I mean, yeah, I could see it either going. I could see it going both ways there.
So yeah, that's a thing. That's just, you know, there's not much to be gleaned from that, but I honestly sort of feel like it's an
off-season April Fool's.
If they had called Diablo Immortal a frontline release for Blizzard.
Oh, that would have been even more controversy.
Yeah, people just would have been even more pissed
people
off.
would have lost their shit.
So, this is another interesting thing, because honestly, this legitimately surprised me. They said that 2019's Call of Duty title is going to feature a campaign.
Who's making it? Who's making this one?
I think that this one... is this Infinity Ward's turn? I think.
Is Infinity Ward still making them? I don't even fucking know anymore.
Yeah, I think they're trading off between Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer.
Okay. So this might be...
I think this one
might be Infinity
I think this
Ward.
one is Infinity Ward's turn, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think there were rumors that it was going to be a new Modern Warfare game. So, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's I just looked it up. It is being developed by Infinity Ward. So,
okay.
And Activision did clarify that the company-wide layoffs have not affected Infinity Ward. So,
Okay.
Interesting. But I'm surprised by this, because I honestly didn't expect, after Black Ops came out.
Well, okay. That's the thing. It's different developers,
The thing that I'm curious about, I almost wonder that if by the time they pulled that trigger, and they said, you know what, fuck it, Black Ops 4 is not going to have a campaign, I wonder if it was too late. It was too late in, Infinity Ward's development cycle. They can't just kill the campaign.
That's the thing. You don't really, how long are these games in development for?
Well, they're in development for, between 2 and 3 years, but the thing is they're trading off the development teams. So
yeah, the campaign was probably too far off. So it's like, I guess we're gonna have a campaign. So fuck it.
Yeah. So I'm almost wondering if maybe that means that this one now is going to be the last one with a campaign. I guess we'll see. I guess it's going to depend on if the 2020 Sledgehammer game or whatever. I guess it depends on if they're going to have a campaign.
What was Sledgehammer's last one?
Their last one, I think it was. What was the one before? World War II, I guess.
Is that it? My God, is it fucked up that I'm like I barely play Call of Duty anymore. I don't even remember which game. There's too many of them.
I dabble in them and I'm like, this is good, But then I just don't really, we enjoyed Black Ops 4 when we played it, and it was fine and everything. And I enjoyed World War II's campaign when I dabbled in that, but I didn't finish it. I wasn't I wasn't 100% on board. It's not, Call of Duty is not something, it has not for a long time been something that has really hooked me. It's not different enough.
On a little tangent, I think the last Call of Duty that I genuinely gave a shit about, that I actually played regularly, was probably Black Ops 2.
Uh-huh.
And that was, Black Ops 2.
The last one that I really went balls deep in was probably Modern Warfare 2. Honestly.
Yeah, that's the heyday of my life right there. Back playing that shit as a fucking teenage cyborg.
When I was a teenage cyborg. Yeah.
Yep. That back in what was it, those games? It was Bad Company 2. Those fucking games where I was a fucking teenage cyborg was disgusting. But yeah, back to the news.
So that's an interesting thing. 2019's Call of Duty confirmed to have a campaign. We'll see if Sledgehammer's 2020 game has a campaign before. But I think everybody just sort of assumed that that was a nail in the coffin for Call of Duty campaigns after Black Ops 4 was such a huge success without a campaign.
Yeah, it's just a weird. That's what you get with the cycling of the developers.
Well, and that's why Call of Duty is always so iterative, and they don't really change that much because they don't have time to. By the time say Black Ops 4 comes out, and you're like, oh, I don't like this about it. Well, it's already in the next game because we don't have time to get that feedback and change it. These games are made in a vacuum, and that is a problem for the Call of Duty franchise. And they're not different enough. And I mean, quite frankly, it doesn't seem like they have to be that different because they continue to sell and sell and sell. So
it's it's still it's dropped off to what it obviously what it used to be making, but it's still selling really, really well.
I think I can't remember if Red Dead Redemption 2 outsold it. I don't think it did. I don't think Red Dead quite outsold it, but it was close. I think Call of Duty did still end up being number 1, but I think Red Dead was right behind it, if I'm not mistaken, in the 2018 NPD. But anyway, interesting things to be gleaned about the future of Call of Duty. We'll see where it ends up. I've got one last bit of news here before we start talking about the Nintendo Direct. And this is something that I knew we were going to have to discuss because this has just been ingrained into my memory ever since I laid my eyes on its horrifying visage. Disney released a new teaser trailer for the upcoming Aladdin film. And we have finally gotten a look at Will Smith's Genie for the first time.
Let me say something. I originally only saw the image, and I hated every second. I hated just the image alone. And it was you that told me that I should watch the trailer.
You have to see it in motion.
And I don't like it in motion. It bothers me. I hate it. It's fucking weird. As I was talking to my parents, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't mind it." I'm like, "Oh, it's terrible."
It's funny because my wife Anastasia, she's been watching all these trailers. Aladdin's like her favorite movie of all time. She's a diehard Aladdin fan. You will never meet an Aladdin fan bigger than her. She's sitting there, she's watching the trailer, and she's enjoying it because, everything else looks great, honestly.
When what happens when Will Smith appears?
When she sees Will Smith appear at the very end as the genie, she's just like, oh no. Oh no. And then she just like softly like put her phone down on her chest, and she's like, I hate it.
It's not good, man. Like, it's just, I don't...
And it's hilarious because everybody was bitching. They did that Entertainment Weekly reveal where they had, like, the primary cast members. And Will Smith was in his sort of, like... He was in a get-up and looking kind of genie-like, but it was just Will Smith, right? And everybody's bitching that he wasn't blue. And now here he is, full CG, blue, bare-chested Will Smith. And everybody hates it.
I just don't like it, dude.
And you know what it is, and I'll have to show this to you at some point. There was a guy who did a Photoshop where he sort of made the CG look a little more cartoony, so he like elongated the chin a little bit to make it look more.
So I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Like, it's just the fact that it's just straight up like virtually just Will Smith's fucking face.
Yeah, so he like elongated the chin and just made it look kind of more in line with Robin Williams' Genie, and it looked way better. Like it looked like I would totally watch a whole movie of that. But it's not that. It's just literally just Will Smith's blue face on this muscular genie body. And it's very wrong and bad. And I don't like it. Anyway. I'm still excited about the movie, though. I think the movie still looks good.
If you say so. No,
I mean, everything else is, Iago is Iago. She actually didn't like Abu. Like when you see that quick shot of Abu.
Yeah.
She was actually like, oh, I don't like that. And I was like, what do you want? He's a monkey. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, what do you want? Like, some real
you can't make a monkey look like anything other than a monkey. Anyway, let's get into the big boy here, Todd. Let's get into this Nintendo Direct. We just finished, not even an hour ago, watching this Nintendo Direct live on Twitch. And let's just go over my notes here. Because as we're watching it, I was just kind of putting together notes and sort of taking notes of all the noteworthy things that I wanted to talk about on the podcast. And I'm leaving out quite a few things, but even still, even just talking about the things that are interesting, there's a lot here. What did you think of this Direct overall?
There was a couple things that caught my eye. Usually with most of the Nintendo Directs, because I'm nowhere near as much a Nintendo fan as you are.
Right.
So I watch them just because I like to see this sort of news in general.
Right.
But this one, a couple things caught my eye. So it was good shit. So
this Direct cold opened with the announcement of Super Mario Maker 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which there was actually a leak several days ago that sort of like broke this news. And to be honest, some of the news that was leaked did not happen in this Direct, but a lot of it did. And the moment that Super Mario Maker 2 was announced, I knew the leak was real. Because that is such an off-the-wall, like, nobody saw that coming. Everybody sort of expected that they were going to port Mario Maker, because Mario Maker is an extremely successful game, and they've had a 3DS version and shit like that, but to make a full-on sequel, and it looks crazy, like, they've added so many new things. Like, I can't wait to see the Game Explain video where they break down all the new things they've added, because there's a lot of new stuff. They've added, like a Mario 3D world, like the cat suit is in there.
Yeah.
The clear transport tunnels are in there. It just looks like a bigger, badder Super Mario Maker. And you made the astute point that that this is a YouTube series for Nerd Bourbon waiting to happen.
Oh, it's content. It's nothing but content. There was a couple things from the Direct that was like pure content.
Yeah, where we were just like, wow, Nintendo's just like giving us some content right now. But I can just totally imagine us doing a series where we create, hellish Mario Maker levels for each other, and
this is when I wish you had a capture card, man.
Yeah,
like it'd be great.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna have to figure that out at some point just to see.
Dude, at this point, I'd buy you one.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even.
Oh yeah. It's your computer that's.
I don't think my computer can handle it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to look into it. But yeah, Mario Maker 2, I mean, huge surprise. And then also the fact that it's coming in June. Like, that's coming out. So a lot of these games are coming out, imminently. And that was kind of a thing that I knew coming into this Direct. We all expected a Direct in January.
Yeah.
We knew that a lot of this stuff, like Nintendo, it's not like Nintendo just has no games. And it almost seems like most of the stuff is coming out before E3, in the first half of the year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I almost feel like E3 is when they're going to come out and they're going to say all right, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion.
I'm going to say something that what you reminded me of in January when you were waiting for this Direct.
Yes.
You were like a fucking junkie scratching at your goddamn arm.
You have no idea. It feels so good to finally have this Nintendo Direct. I feel like I can finally rest. I can finally get a good night's sleep. It was bad. The level of anxiety, because as a Nintendo fan, I'm just like I want to know, because I'm the polar opposite of you. I love Nintendo and I love a lot of these first party Nintendo games, and a lot of this stuff that they showcase in the Direct is stuff that I'm actually interested in. So to go from having basically nothing to just all of this interesting stuff is a big deal for me. So. And another thing that they moved on from that, and they showcased Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which they announced at E3 was going to be a Nintendo Switch exclusive. They announced that it's going to have online co-op.
# more content.
Which is going to be more content for us, because we're going to be all over that.
Oh yeah, dude. I fucking love Ultimate Alliance.
I really enjoy the first and second games, and I'm going to be, that's going to be a thing. And that's coming this summer as well. No hard date. But summer 2019. Box Boy is making his return. Box Boy is a kind of 3DS kind of puzzle platform game where you literally play as a cube named Cubie. And they're literally they've called this one Box Boy plus Box Girl. It's coming April 26th, and it's going to have co-op. I don't think online co-op. I think it's going to be local co-op, but
if it was online co-op, I probably wouldn't mind fucking with it. But
yeah, I'm probably gonna buy it just to play with my wife. I think that might be something. It might end in our divorce, but it might also be fun. So that's cool. It's cool that Box Boy is coming. A lot of this stuff is finally, this is coming to the Switch. They teased us saying that the Smash 3.0 update is coming this spring, but they said that they were going to make us wait until later to find out what that was going to entail. Which is weird. It's why even say that? But they did say that Joker, Persona's Joker, the first DLC fighter, is going to be coming before the end of April.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to be playing as Joker within the next couple of months, assumedly. This next thing I have here is a huge surprise. Co-op and paid DLC is coming to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, a game that is very near and dear to my heart. I really, really love that game. That game is a sort of perspective shifting exploration puzzler, And I really, really loved it a lot on Wii U, and I've been meaning to pick it back up on Switch, especially since it's only like $40.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, now that they're adding all of this content to it, I'm all over it. And again, it's another co-op thing. It's a lot of this stuff. It seems like Nintendo is really going a multiplayer focus with the Switch. So that's interesting. And they said that they're gonna have a bundle where you can buy the DLC and the game. So I'm definitely gonna be jumping on that in the very near future. This was an interesting one that caught both of our eyes. So Tokyo RPG Factory. That is a sort of a development team that Square put together to sort of create Japanese role-playing games. They did I Am Setsuna. They did Lost Sphere more recently. I Am Setsuna was great. Lost Sphere was not as well received. But they're now doing a totally original game that does not... The thing about it was like, I Am Setsuna was obviously like a sort of Chrono Trigger spiritual successor. Yeah. And Lost Sphere was kind of its own thing and didn't super succeed. This looks completely original. It's called Oninaki. And it's coming this summer, and it looks awesome. I was kind of blown away by that trailer. Like, it looks like the mechanic is that your character can shift between the living and the dead spirit world and sort of collect spirits to use in combat. And
it's like the spirits are like tied to like weapon types, basically.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah.
We don't know that much about it, but that was a really neat trailer. And
that's the point of a trailer. It got me interested.
Yeah, the art and the music like looked really good, and the colors. I mean, it just very, very impressive. Especially like looking at Lost Sphere, which Lost Sphere was okay. I played the demo for it, and but just visually it was like totally unremarkable. But now looking at this, I'm like, wow, this actually looks really good. We got a little bit of a blowout for Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I know it's not your cup of tea. You're not a strategy game player. But I like Fire Emblem. I don't know if I'm going to be all over this, because Fire Emblem is not a series, like, as much as I enjoy it, it's not typically a series that I buy on, like, day one, For me, it's one of those, like, if it's a dry time and I just want to cozy up with a good strategy, RPG, Fire Emblem definitely scratches that itch. But
that's fine. I'll be seeing that fucking main character in Smash pretty soon.
Yeah. They showcase the playable character, and of course you can do male or female. And as soon as they showed that, I was like, hey Todd, get used to seeing them because they're gonna be in Smash soon. Like dead ass. That's more than likely gonna be one of the playable characters. But it looks great. I really like everything they showed. It just, I was actually kind of stricken by how good it looks graphically.
Oh yeah, that's something I'll even agree with. I mean, I would never play that game, but yeah, it looked fucking good.
Yeah, so that's coming in July, and I knew that was one of the things coming into this Direct. I was like, Fire Emblem always comes out in the first half of the year, so I knew that Fire Emblem had to be very soon, and it is. It's coming out like in the next 4 months. So, this was an interesting announcement. Tetris 99, aka Tetris Battle Royale.
I coined that as we were watching.
Which is a free-to-play online Tetris game where you're basically playing Tetris against 99 other people.
I don't even say you're like playing Tetris against each other. You're just fucking playing Tetris.
Well, you're playing... it is sort of against each other because based on the way the other players are doing, did you see they added those sort of challenge things rising from the bottom?
Yeah. Okay.
So what the other players are doing does affect you and your sort of Tetris board. So it's kind of an interesting idea, and I kind of want to fuck with it. I kind of want to try it, but like Tetris Effect has pretty thoroughly ruined all other Tetris games for me because Tetris Effect is just like so good. So, but that it's an interesting idea if nothing else, and this sort of just furthers our need to make anything a fucking battle royale game.
Now Tetris is even battle royale.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Chapter 1 of Deltarune, which has been out on PC for a little while. This is the follow-up to Undertale by Toby Fox.
Who gives a shit?
A lot of people give a shit. You're in the minority. Accept it. Accept it. Undertale is fucking great.
If you say so.
And I do say so. And it's coming out, actually, I think it's coming out like next week. or the week after. I think the week after next, February 28th, it's coming out for free. So that's cool, because I was thinking about downloading that on my PC, but now that it's coming to Switch, I'll just play it on Switch. So I'm looking forward to that. So this is an interesting one. This is another demo I'm going to have to download. Daemon Ex Machina. There's a demo.
Demon.
What is it?
I think that it's pronounced demon.
Are you sure? Because it's spelled like Damon.
Yeah, I guess that's how they get you.
Well, whatever. There's a demo for that coming out later today. That is the kind of surprise drop game they had at E3, where it's like a mech combat game. Sort of looks like a Evangelion sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Looks really cool. Like the combat looks really fast and like frenetic. The demo is coming out later today. Did you notice? Did you catch this? I caught this. The guy that they had announcing this said he said that it should be out this summer.
Oh.
I thought that was weird. I thought that was kind of weird.
It should be out.
Because big letters on the screen. It's like demo launches today. Summer 2019. But then the guy's like, should be launching this summer. I'm like, does that mean you're gonna like push it? Especially since the demo is only just now coming out and you're asking for feedback. That was another thing. They asked for feedback on like their Twitter and stuff like that. So I'm sort of expecting this game to get pushed.
Yeah.
But I do want to check out that demo.
Yeah, that's the same. I was like, I'm probably going to download that.
This was a big surprise, and I don't think either of us are going to play it, but I think we're both in agreement that it's very cool. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice coming to the Switch.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to play that game again, because it's just, I think that's one of those games that is like just a one-time experience.
Yeah, you play it once, you have your experience with it, and it's like a good book, you know what I mean?
Yes,
and maybe
like,
in 10 years, I'll want to have that experience again.
Yeah, when it's like almost like completely like forgotten in my mind.
Right.
But it's cool that's coming to Switch. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like the gameplay they were showing off, I was blown away at how good it looked. I can't believe they have that game running like that on the Switch.
Yeah, it's honestly incredible.
It really does not look that much worse than it did on PS4, and the game already looked phenomenal.
It's funny, as I honestly think the best way to play that like on the Switch, the best way to play it is in handheld, so you could put headphones in.
Right. Well, you can actually use headphones on. You could use USB headphones on the Switch.
Oh, can you? Okay,
yep.
That's good.
As a matter of fact, you could use the and I've done this before. You can take your PlayStation like Gold headphones and just plug it into your Switch. Yeah.
Oh, legit.
The Switch is very like open source when it comes to that stuff.
That's good.
So yeah, highly recommend if you guys are going to play that game on Switch. Highly recommend headphones. I mean, you are not doing it right if you don't play that game with headphones.
It ruins like the amount of like work they did with the audio design in that game without headphones.
And we both really sing the praises of Hellblade back in 2017. I think it was, what was it, like our number 2, I think, game of the year.
It easily could have been my number 1.
It was honestly, I think the only reason it wasn't number 1 is because Breath of the Wild was a thing.
Yep.
I think that was about it. So we both loved it, and we both gave it a ringing endorsement. It's a really, really excellent game, and it's cool that Switch players are going to get to have what looks like a really good version of the game available. Coming soon.
If you want a decent review on it, check out our shots.
Yeah, we did an episode of Shots on it back when we did our scarce video game episodes of Shots.
That's one of the fucking few ones that we did do.
Yeah, and we sort of decided not long after that Shots should be relegated to like TV and film.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hellblade has its own episode of Shots if you want to hear us really get in depth with it for like 30 minutes. So I think in the future, if we want to do that, we'll just sort of do a special episode. Like we'll just sort of like we talked at one time about doing like a God of War spoiler cast, where we do that. But I think we'll just make that its own thing. We don't necessarily have to tie it into one of our spin-off shows.
Yeah, this would be a one-off sort of thing.
Maybe if I ever like play Red Dead one day, maybe we'll do a special episode about Red Dead or something.
I would love to do. I would love to do that. I would love to discuss Red Dead 2 with you.
So some of the classic Final Fantasy games that were promised by Nintendo late last year are finally making their way to Switch. Final Fantasy IX was actually launching today, which is cool. And Final Fantasy VII is coming out next month on the 26th to Switch. very cool opportunities to play those classic Final Fantasy games that were previously only on PlayStation. Highly recommend that. If you've never played those games, they're both excellent. This was a surprise. So this is kind of the last two announcements of the show, and this took us both off guard. And I think we just sort of got progressively more excited the further this trailer went on. A new game.
Some real shit.
A new game by Platinum Games called Astral Chain. What the fuck?
That is right there is the only reaction that matters is what the fuck.
And it's coming August 30th, and I'm just like, the whole time like this trailer is playing, it's this sort of like it's a third person action game, very much in the vein of like Devil May Cry or like Bayonetta. Mm-hmm. It looks like I really do feel, just by looking at this trailer, Todd, and maybe this is gonna be ballsy, but I really feel like Astral Chain has the potential to be the next Bayonetta, like in terms of popularity, in terms of its like reverence.
I think, see, the way they were talking about like find out more how the combat is gonna work, I'm like, what is the combat gonna be like, you motherfuckers?
Well, we see. I mean, it seems so. The conceit is that it's this sort of futuristic, kind of cyberpunk, but also Japanese anime kind of style.
Yeah, and I guess you're playing as like police officers.
Yeah, they're wearing like police uniforms, and they have access to these like spirits that are linked to them via chains.
Spirit mechs, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's weird, and like the combat just looks so fast and fluid, and the chains are utilized in the combat.
Yeah, at one point, like the mecha turns into like some like fucking like tiger jaguar ass thing that you're riding.
That you just use as a quick mount to get out of the way, and like the bosses look like huge and crazy. I'm just like I totally, and this is Platinum Games, and I feel like this is like the A-Team Platinum Games right here.
Dude, it caught my attention within like the first like 10 seconds of that trailer. I was like, what's it?
What I loved to see in the trailer was like the couple of shots of just like the landscape of the city and stuff.
Yeah, that shit looked real good.
Or I'm just like, oh man, because this is what I love. Don't get me wrong, I love Bayonetta, I love Devil May Cry. They very rarely allow for like quiet time. Mm-hmm. It's very much just like go, kill, fight, and that's great. But it looks like with Astral Chain, you're going to have a little bit of quiet time. You're going to be able to like actually explore this city a little bit and take in the environment. And man, it just blew me away. That was such an awesome trailer. Like that trailer came out of nowhere. We had no idea that was coming. I mean, we've kind of known that Platinum was working on, they're working on Bayonetta 3, and they actually did say in the Direct to expect to hear more Bayonetta 3 news later this year. But to see Astral Chain looking as good as it did already with a hard release date, man, that was a ballsy ass show of confidence for what looks like a really cool game. I can't wait for that. They ended the show with this was also part of that leak I mentioned. The leaker just said a 2D Zelda game, right? So already I was coming into this very excited, but it didn't take long for a trailer to pop in at the very end of the show, the last announcement of the Direct, and it opens with this animated cutscene. It sort of has this cartoony kind of art style. It looks animated, right? And it's a ship in a storm in the middle of the ocean. And finally, you don't know what's going on. And finally, you get a behind-the-shoulder shot of the person steering the boat. And you know by the hair and by the arm and by the tunic that it is Link. And once you put those pieces together, I basically immediately knew what they were doing, right? And it was confirmed the second Link crashes on an island, and you see the mountain in the background.
And then shit took a dark turn. No, I'm just fucking.
It is. They are doing a remake, a complete reimagining of The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, which is awesome because that is such an underrated Zelda game.
The art style bothered me for like the first couple seconds of it.
So here's the weird thing about it. So they show gameplay of it, right? And it's a classic 2D top-down Zelda game, but the art style is so weird. It looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like those old Christmas claymation Christmas movies.
Oh, that's a good pull. It does look like that.
Like Frosty the Snowman and like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's what it looks like.
He dead ass looks like the fucking elves from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Right. And you know what though? If you know that game the way I know that game, it works. Because that game is so fucking weird. Like, that game is so interesting and crazy and off the wall, and Link's Awakening is a weird fucking game. And I really hope that this gives people a chance to either revisit Link's Awakening and see and just remember how good it is, or experience it for the first time. Because man, what a crazy! I mean, that game has like Goombas in it, and you're like, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah, it has like Goombas from like Mario in it. It's like weird.
All right then.
And then also like if you remember, so the whole Eventide Island from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That is a direct reference to Link's Awakening. So like the whole conceit of Link's Awakening is that you crash on this island, and when you wake up you just have nothing, right? So that's a whole thing, and that's an awesome game, and I'm very excited that they're remaking it. The art style is so strange, and like I honestly couldn't be happier, because I'm all about Nintendo doing this weird shit. Like have fun with it, you know what I mean? Like, do weird things with these properties. Like I don't want to see, Zelda just being stagnant. I want to see you do new stuff with Zelda, and I know there is going to be fan backlash over this art style choice, but I kind of love it. As horrible as it
grew
is.
On me. Like it was like one of those things, like I didn't expect it, like that art style. Like the moment it like showed gameplay, I was like, "Ooh, what the fuck?" But it grew on me.
Well, because here's the thing: they did a Link Between Worlds, which was a new game, but it was more or less a remake of A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
And like that had a very safe art style. Like it just looked, it was very safe. I loved it. I love that game. It's excellent. But it was safe. This is just weird and off the wall and out there in the best way possible, and I'm very, very, very excited. Just a vague 2019 date, but man, that like shot straight up to the top of some of my most anticipated games of the year. I can't wait. I hope you play it. I know you. I don't know how you feel about 2D Zelda games, or if you've ever played one.
I don't mind them. I'm like. I could see myself fucking with it.
But I really hope, I hope people give this game a shot, because Link's Awakening is a very, very special game. Very, very good stuff. Anyway, I could ramble on and on about this stuff, but we got to wrap it up at some point. It's a little late in the day for us, Todd. Nintendo couldn't grace us with a fucking early morning direct.
Oh, that would have been too much of the right thing to do.
But it's fine. I'm glad we got this done and we got to talk about it on this episode of the show. Would have been easy for us to just be like, we'll do it next week, but
yeah, fuck that. I honestly, I think we both talked about it. We wanted to keep it relevant.
Keep it relevant, Todd. Keep it relevant. You got anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I think that's about it.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there. Thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe. Leave us a like. Drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.